Beginning, an invitation I couldn't refuse. I never considered myself graceful. My name is Derek Vance, a human systems engineer stationed on Astoria Station, a massive orbital hub in the neutral sector of the Xiphron expanse. My work involved stabilizing jump gates, maintaining life support systems, and occasionally mediating disputes between alien traders. Glamorous it was not. So, when I received an official invitation to the Queen's annual gala, I assumed it was a clerical mistake. My credentials were basic, my rank negligible, yet the holographic summons shimmered with gold lettering. You are cordially invited to the gala of the Queen of Elendor. Your attendance is requested. I debated ignoring it, but curiosity and the faint hope of mingling with beings beyond human worlds pushed me to attend. The Elendran Palace floated above Elendor Prime, an architectural marvel of translucent spires, bioluminescent terraces, and energy bridges that twisted gravity itself. As I entered the grand hall, the sheer scale of the event took my breath away. Nobles of countless species danced, conversed, and displayed ornate fashions that shimmered like stars. The music, ethereal yet rhythmic, flowed through the room, guiding every movement. I felt out of place in my human attire, surrounded by beings of elegance and power. Unsure where to go, I drifted near the edge, hoping not to draw attention. Then she appeared. Middle, the mistaken dance. I didn't realize it at first. A hand extended toward me, delicate yet firm. Dance with me, a melodic voice said. I turned and saw a stunning Elendran woman, her skin faintly iridescent, her eyes gleaming violet. I bowed awkwardly. I'm not much of a dancer. She smiled, a warm, knowing curve of her lips. You'll do fine. Just follow my lead. And so I followed. The music swelled. I stepped awkwardly at first, then found a rhythm under her guidance. Her hand in mine was steady, her movements flawless. I matched her as best I could, spinning, dipping, and gliding across the polished floor. Around us, the hall blurred. Conversations faded. Lights softened. Only the music and her presence mattered. Hours, or perhaps minutes, passed. I lost all sense of time. Then, at the crescendo of the song, she leaned closer. You dance well for a human, she said, eyes glimmering with amusement. I thank you, I stammered, embarrassed by my own inexperience. I've never danced like this before. She laughed softly, a sound like wind through crystalline leaves. Then perhaps we should dance again sometime. I nodded, captivated, never once realizing who she truly was. The revelation. After the dance, I excused myself, feeling both exhilarated and nervous. I wandered through the hall, catching snippets of conversation and laughter, until a servant approached. Sir Derek Vance, the servant said, bowing deeply. The Queen requests your presence. My stomach dropped. The Queen? Me? Yes, sir. She wishes to speak with you privately. I was escorted to a secluded terrace overlooking the glowing city below. And there she was, my dance partner. The realization hit me like a thunderbolt. I had been dancing with Queen Valira of Elendor herself. She regarded me with amusement, her violet eyes sharp yet kind. I trust you enjoyed the dance, Sir Derek? I had no idea, I admitted, bowing deeply. I would have. I don't even know what I would have done if I had known. She smiled. Sometimes, the unknown brings the most honesty. Tonight, you were not a diplomat, not an engineer, not a guest. You were simply yourself. And that is a rare gift. Her words left me speechless. I had danced unknowingly with one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy, and she had praised me for my authenticity. Middle, political intrigue, and trust. The days following the gala were surreal. Queen Valira summoned me again, this time to assist in resolving a diplomatic crisis. A rival faction sought to undermine Elendor's authority, and the Queen valued my human perspective in mediating the negotiations. Together, we navigated treacherous political waters. I observed her brilliance firsthand. The way she anticipated moves, the subtle manipulations she employed, the empathy she wielded as deftly as a weapon. I realized that dancing with her had been more than a social faux pas. It had been an initiation, a glimpse into the grace and power that defined her reign. Despite the seriousness of the situation, our connection deepened. We spoke often in private chambers, discussing politics, philosophy, and the strange intersections of our worlds. She challenged me intellectually, emotionally, and morally. I, in turn, offered honesty, perspective, and loyalty. And through it all, I couldn't forget the dance, the way her hand had felt in mine, the way the music seemed to carry us above the pressures of the court, the way her laughter had made everything human in me feel small but alive. The crisis. Weeks later, the faction opposing the Queen launched a covert strike against Elendor's ambassadorial envoy. Information suggested the attack could destabilize the peace talks I had helped mediate. Queen Valira summoned me to the war room, her expression grave. "Derek, I need you. Not as a guest, not as a human observer, but as a strategist. Your understanding of human and alien coordination can tip the balance." I nodded, adrenaline replacing fear. We worked together, devising plans, analyzing intelligence, and anticipating enemy moves. Her confidence in me was absolute. Her faith, though intimidating, fueled my own. The day of the strike, I stood at her side as Elendor's forces engaged the opposition. Her commands were precise, her decisions swift. I assisted where I could, my human intuition complementing her alien foresight. Together, we neutralized the threat before it escalated into full-scale war. When the dust settled, the court erupted in applause, but it was her eyes I sought. She approached, a faint smile on her lips. "You did well, Derek. Not as a dancer tonight, but as someone who matters to Elendor's future." Ending, recognition, and connection. In the weeks after the crisis, Queen Valira and I spent more time together, formally and informally. I was no longer merely the human engineer who accidentally danced at a gala. I was a trusted ally, confidant, and advisor. One evening, she invited me to a private chamber. "Derek," she said, her eyes glimmering violet, "do you remember that first dance?" I nodded, a smile tugging at my lips. Of course. I had no idea I was dancing with the Queen. She stepped closer, placing a delicate hand on mine. "You danced with me as yourself. You were honest, unpretentious, and brave enough to be human in a world that demands perfection. That night, I saw who you truly are, and I have not forgotten." I don't know what to say," I admitted. "Then simply stay as you are," she whispered, "and perhaps dance with me again. This time, knowing who I am." For the first time, I realized that the universe had handed me an impossible gift, not just trust and recognition from one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy, but a connection that transcended rank, species, and expectation. I smiled, feeling the weight of history, politics, and destiny lift just enough to breathe freely. "I would be honored, Your Majesty." And as we stepped onto the ballroom floor once more, this time aware of every significance, I knew that a single dance, unplanned, accidental, yet perfect, had changed my life forever. In the end, it wasn't the grandeur of the palace, the elegance of the court, or the power of a queen that left the greatest impact. It was the honesty, connection, and trust shared in a moment when two beings dared to be themselves. And that dance, accidental as it was, had opened the door to a future I could never have imagined, but one I would embrace wholeheartedly.